Caleb was throwing a birthday party. I couldn't make it because I was meeting with a client. By the time I finished, it was already 9 o'clock at night. My phone buzzed with a message from him. "Baby, why don't you head home first? I'll be back to keep you company once things wrap up. Drive safely, okay? Don't make me worry." His tone was gentle, as always. Caleb and I had been married for 5 years. He had never raised his voice at me. Never said a harsh word. Our friends always said I married the right man. I glanced out at the night through the car window, pressed my lips together, and still decided to drive toward the club. When I arrived outside the private room, the atmosphere inside was lively. It seemed someone else had been there before me. The door wasn't fully closed, leaving a slight gap. Through it, I saw a woman sitting inside. It was Caleb's first love, Vicky. My heart skipped a beat. She was alive? In the dimly lit room, Vicky's gaze clung to Caleb. When he didn't respond to her presence, she lowered her head awkwardly. Someone at the table spoke up. "Caleb, why isn't your wife here tonight?" "Yeah, missing her husband's birthday party. Could there be trouble in paradise?" A few others chimed in with teasing comments. Vicky's expression grew darker with every word. Before Caleb could answer, she blurted out, "Your wife?" Someone whistled, clearly enjoying the tension. "Oh, Miss Vicky, you didn't know? Caleb and Teresa have been married for 5 years now. They're basically the model couple in our circle. Back then, so many women were after Caleb, but he never even looked their way. His heart's always been with his wife." The man paused deliberately and gave Vicky a pointed look. "Some people should probably stop wasting their time." His words hit Vicky like a slap. Her eyes instantly reddened as she turned to Caleb, her voice trembling. "Is it true? Are you really married?" Across the room, Caleb stubbed out his cigarette. He rarely smoked, only when he was irritated or upset. Under Vicky's tearful gaze, Caleb gave a slight nod. "Yes, I'm married." Vicky's tears fell immediately, making the atmosphere unbearably awkward. As if unwilling to give up, she clenched her hands tightly. "I came back for you. And now, I only have one question. If I had never left, would I be the one by your side?" A hush fell over the room. Caleb's fingers tightened around his glass, his expression unreadable. Sensing his discomfort, a friend tried to lighten the mood. "Come on, that's a pointless question. Caleb's married. Why stir up old feelings?" But the next second, Caleb put down his glass and spoke calmly. "Yes." All eyes turned to him. For once, the ever-cool and composed Caleb showed emotion. "If you hadn't left, the position of my wife was always meant for you." Outside the door, my heart grew colder with each word. The position of his wife was meant for her. Then what about me? What did these 5 years mean? I turned around and tossed the gift box I brought into the trash. It was a tie, a birthday gift for Caleb. When I first met him, he was just a broke young man. At his first business dinner, he didn't even know how to tie a tie. I was the one who stood by him and helped him climb to where he is today. I invested in his company. After graduation, I gave up my family's business and poured all my energy into his dreams. I lost count of how many hardships we endured. That's why, after we got married, he spoiled me like no one else. I knew he was trying to make it up to me, little by little. Every time I helped him tie his tie, he'd smile and kiss me. "You'll have to buy my ties for the rest of your life. That way, I'll always be yours." Back then, our love was so pure. I really thought we would stay happy forever. But Vicky, she came back. I pressed my lips together and walked away from the club. By the time Caleb paid the bill and left, Vicky was already waiting for him. She grabbed his arm the moment he stepped outside. His expression darkened as he shook her off. "Did you mean what you said in there?" she asked breathlessly. "If I never left you, would I be your wife now?" Her voice cracked with emotion. Vicky tried to throw herself into his arms, but Caleb pulled away coldly. "Too bad life doesn't work that way," he said icily. "Vicky, I once loved you deeply, but now, I hate you just as much. It doesn't matter anymore. I'm already married. Please have some self-respect." He turned to leave, only to run straight into me. His eyes widened in shock. "What are you doing here?" I smiled faintly, though the warmth never reached my eyes. Surprised to see me? So, Vicky's alive. Should I give you two some space to catch up? Caleb grabbed my hand, his palm damp with sweat. His grip was so tight it almost hurt. No need. Let's go home. His face remained calm, as if nothing had happened. From the moment I arrived, Vicky had been sizing me up. The jealousy in her eyes was impossible to miss, as if I were the intruder, stealing something that rightfully belonged to her. As Caleb wrapped an arm around me and led me away, tears welled up in Vicky's eyes again. The night was quiet as I drove us home. Caleb sat silently in the passenger seat. The moment we stepped inside, he pinned me against the door and kissed me deeply. His hands roamed my body, his desire burning hot. Just as he started pulling up my skirt, I pushed him back gently. Not today. I'm on my period. Caleb groaned softly and kissed me again before stepping back. Okay. I'll get you a heating pad and make you something to eat. He disappeared into the kitchen, the perfect picture of a devoted husband. As if that whole scene at the party had never happened. Steam rose from the kitchen as I stood quietly, my vision blurring. How could I not fall deeper for a man like him? When we first got together, Caleb showed me what love was. He was charming, funny, and so good to me. Even my parents, who disapproved at first, eventually accepted him when they saw how much he loved me. But now, Vicky was back. The woman Caleb had once described as long gone had come back to life. I looked at Caleb and asked softly, why did Vicky suddenly show up? It was as if he had expected my question. Caleb's gaze darkened slightly as he placed the bowl on the table. I was surprised too. She suddenly appeared at the party today, he said. I only found out today that she was still alive. I nodded at him, pretending to believe he had no prior knowledge. And what about what she said to you when she followed you outside? At my words, Caleb lifted his gaze. His long, beautiful eyelashes trembled slightly. Baby, I know hearing that made you uncomfortable, he said. But there were mutual friends present. I'm a man, why would I be so petty and let them laugh at me? That was Caleb's explanation. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I might have believed him. But someone had already stepped in to smooth things over. Caleb didn't need to respond. Yet, he did. Maybe Vicky's tears pierced his heart. Maybe he never truly forgot her. Either way, it was a reality I couldn't accept. I didn't press further and let him pull me into his arms. His soft sigh brushed against my ear. No matter what, you're the one I love most now. That will never change, he murmured. Speculating about the past means nothing to me. Do you understand? After a long silence, I gently pushed him away. I'm a little tired today. Caleb kissed my forehead tenderly. All right, I'll go run a bath for you. That night, I didn't fall asleep in Caleb's arms as I usually did. After my bath, he hugged me from behind. When the night grew deep and his breathing became steady, I remained wide awake, staring at the ceiling. Then, in the stillness, I heard a broken, tearful murmur. Vicky. Don't leave me. I'll go with you. Please, don't leave me. The blood in my veins froze. My hands trembled as I turned on the bedside lamp. Beads of sweat covered Caleb's forehead. His eyes were shut tight, but he hadn't woken up. Even in his dreams, he was pleading, begging that woman not to leave him. Just how much had he loved Vicky back then? I let out a bitter laugh and slipped out of the bedroom, still fully dressed. The living room was dark, and I sat in silence for a long time. Eventually, I picked up Caleb's phone. In all the years we'd been married, he never said a password. The lock screen had always been a picture of the two of us. In the dim light, the phone screen glowed faintly. I held my breath as I carefully checked everything. There was nothing unusual. I had known about Vicky before we got married. Caleb's friends had told me there was once a girl who grew up with him. But she died young, at the peak of her beauty. After that, Caleb never loved anyone else, until he met me in college. When he pursued me, he was bold and unapologetic. Everyone knew how much he wanted me. He poured all his affection and romantic gestures into me alone. At first, I was bothered by Vicky. After all, no woman wants her boyfriend to have another woman etched into his heart. But as time went on, Caleb never mentioned his past. Whenever we were together, he was the one initiating every kiss and embrace. Even my best friend reassured me. "Come on," she said. He liked Vicky when he was a teenager. That was just puppy love. Besides, she's not even alive anymore. Why compare yourself to someone who's gone? She wasn't wrong. Caleb was handsome, patient, and ambitious. If you let a guy like him go, she warned me, you'll never find someone like him again. After we graduated, we got married. My parents invested in Caleb's company, helping him start his business. Over the years, he grew a small studio into a firm with hundreds of employees. The old saying, "Men change when they become successful," never applied to Caleb. He never entertained other women. Even at business events, he always brought me along. People in our social circle joked that he was completely under my control. Caleb would just smile softly and say, "They don't understand how happy I am." Thinking back, those memories felt like a distant dream. When did things start to change between us? Or maybe Vicky had always been a shadow between us, an unspoken barrier I could never overcome. As long as she existed, I would always lose. The night grew colder. Only when my limbs felt icy did I finally return to the bedroom. On Monday afternoon, my assistant called me. "Miss Teresa, there's something going on at the company. You should come and check it out." I hung up, and my instincts told me this was about Caleb. I changed into a long dress and drove to the office. When I arrived, I overheard a few female employees gossiping in the break room. "Mr. Caleb never lets any woman into his office except Miss Teresa and his assistant. Even when meeting clients, he uses the conference room. Whoever this woman is, she must be really special. Yeah, I heard she's a model. With a body like that, who could blame Mr. Caleb for being tempted?" "Don't be ridiculous," another one chimed in. "He's been married to Miss Teresa for years, and their relationship has always been solid." "Who does this model think she is?" "True," the first woman agreed. "Besides, she may be a model, but she looks cheap compared to Miss Teresa. You can tell she grew up pampered." "You guys are so naive," a fourth voice cut in. "Men can't be trusted. Even garbage looks appealing if they haven't tried it yet." They quieted down when they noticed me, exchanging nervous glances before falling silent. My assistant, Rose, approached me quietly and explained the situation. "Our company is collaborating with a partner on a new product launch, and we need a celebrity to endorse it," she said. The partner firm chose Miss Vicky, but Mr. Caleb firmly opposed it. She came to the office this afternoon to talk to him. They'd been in his office for over an hour. Rose hesitated before adding, "When I brought in coffee, Miss Vicky was crying." She didn't finish her sentence. She didn't need to, I already understood. I had personally hired Rose to work by Caleb's side. It was a precaution so I would always know what was happening. Over the years, she'd been nothing but loyal. I pressed my lips together. "I understand. Go back to work. I'll handle this." I walked toward Caleb's office. The door was closed tightly, but through the wood, I could hear a woman's coquettish voice. "If you're rejecting me because of what happened back then, you're misunderstanding me," Vicky purred. "With my popularity, being your company's spokesperson is a win-win. I hope you won't let your emotions get in the way." She paused, then added in a softer tone, "I know you still love me." Without hesitation, I turned the handle and pushed the door open. Caleb was sitting behind his desk. Vicky, wearing a tight, low-cut dress, was perched on the edge of his desk, her body angled seductively toward him. From his perspective, he could see everything. When Caleb saw me, his face paled. In a panic, he shoved Vicky off the desk. She let out a delicate cry as she fell to the floor. "Why did you push me?" she whimpered. "My ankle hurts, I can't get up." I stood at the doorway, watching Caleb with an indifferent expression. Was he feeling guilty? The next moment, he walked over to me, his expression tense and uneasy. "Teresa, what are you doing here?" I didn't say a word. Instead, I walked past him and headed straight for Vicky. The seductive expression on her face disappeared the moment she saw me. I curled my lips into a faint smile, reached out, and yanked her up. Vicky seemed quite displeased with my roughness. "I heard you come from an elite family too. Who knew you'd lack basic manners? Caleb is a company boss now. Isn't it inappropriate for you to barge into his office like this?" The hostility in her eyes toward me was unmistakable. I turned around and looked at Caleb. "Oh? Is that so? Your office, I'm not welcome here?" Hearing this, Caleb walked over again and took my hand. "Of course not. I wouldn't be where I am today without you. You can come and go anywhere in this company as you please." I curved my lips into a smile, but it didn't reach my eyes. Hearing his words, Vicky looked at Caleb with a pitiful expression, but he didn't respond to her at all. The next second, I lazily sat down on the sofa. Rose came in and brought me a cup of coffee. Sensing the tense atmosphere, she quietly closed the door behind her on her way out. I took a sip of coffee, glancing indifferently at the two people standing in the office. "Miss Vicky, are you here today to discuss the spokesperson position?" "So what if I am?" "That's between me and Caleb. It's none of your business." Every word was a blatant provocation against me as his wife. Before I could speak, Caleb's angry voice cut through the air. "Vicky, I'm warning you, show some respect to my wife. I've already made my decision about the spokesperson. It won't change. You should leave. And don't come looking for me again. Don't make me call security to keep you out." If you listened closely, you could hear the hesitation in his voice. After being married to Caleb for so many years, how could I not notice? Unfortunately, his words only hurt Vicky more. Her eyes turned red as tears welled up, and she ran out crying. I remained seated, completely still. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed Caleb lowering his gaze. Was he feeling guilty for hurting Vicky? If so, why go through this act in front of me? The room fell into an eerie silence. Caleb sat beside me, softening his tone to coax me. "Are you mad at me? Don't be angry, okay? I only just found out the partners chose her as the spokesperson." Despite my efforts to block it, she still came to confront me. "If you hadn't shown up, I wouldn't have known how to get rid of her." He held my hand, bringing it to his lips and kissing it gently. The way he looked at me was as affectionate as ever. And yet, for some reason, I no longer felt moved. I pressed my lips together and instinctively withdrew my hand. "I'm just curious, why are you so against working with Vicky?" At my question, Caleb's pupils slightly trembled. "Even if it weren't for you, I still wouldn't work with her. Besides, she isn't the best candidate for the job. There are better options out there." Such a righteous and reasonable explanation. I couldn't find a flaw in it, whether personally or professionally. I twitched the corners of my mouth and looked at him. "I came here today because I wanted to discuss something with you. My parents have been arguing lately. I want to take a few days to travel abroad with my mom and help her relax." Hearing this, Caleb's face filled with concern. They've always had a great relationship. What happened? "Just some trivial matters. I'll make some time to go with you. It'll be good to take your mom out and cheer her up." I shook my head immediately. "The company still needs you right now. I can handle it myself." Seeing my firm stance, Caleb eventually nodded. "Let me know when you're coming back. I'll pick you up at the airport." I lowered my gaze and said nothing. That evening, I packed my luggage and drove away. In the city center, there was an apartment my parents had bought for me before I got married. Standing by the floor-to-ceiling windows, I rubbed my temples in frustration. Yes, I had lied to Caleb. My parents had been happily married for decades. Their relationship was as solid as ever. I used my mother as an excuse because I had made up my mind to bring this to an end. Only by leaving would Caleb finally let his guard down. I wanted to see how he would treat Vicky without me around. On the third day after I left, Vicky showed up again. Rose sent me a message saying she had visited Caleb in the afternoon. By evening, Caleb's car appeared. Sitting in my own vehicle, I pulled my cap down low. Soon, a woman stepped out of the passenger seat. The moment I recognized Vicky's face, my heart turned completely cold. Not far away, Vicky playfully held Caleb's hand. His expression was slightly tense, but he didn't pull away. Laughing and chatting, the two of them walked into the home we once shared. A sharp pain spread through my palm. I realized I had been clenching my fist so hard that my nails dug into my skin. When I opened the car door, my legs suddenly felt weak. I should have confronted Caleb the moment I saw them together. But instead, my body trembled uncontrollably. I didn't know what I was afraid of. Or maybe, I just couldn't accept the truth. After a long while, I finally opened the door to our home. The apartment was spacious, and with my deliberate quiet steps, they didn't notice my presence. Standing at the entrance, I took a deep breath and carefully made my way to the bedroom. Behind the tightly closed door, I heard Vicky's delicate voice. "Caleb, everything I told you this afternoon is true. I wanted to tell you the day I returned, but you were already married. And now you're being so harsh to me, all because of your wife." Her voice broke into a sob. In the next moment, Caleb's voice trembled slightly. "All these years, why didn't you ever try to find me?" Vicky started crying. "My parents were hounded by creditors and died tragically. My aunt had no choice but to take me abroad to keep me safe. To protect me, we faked my death. I had to cut ties with everyone, even you. Life overseas was unfamiliar and difficult. I worked while studying to survive and eventually graduated. When I finally decided to come back, a talent scout discovered me. I became a model to repay my aunt for raising me. You know the rest. My contract kept me from returning to you sooner. Caleb, I swear, you are the only man I've ever loved. Fate has been so cruel to us." Her soft, tearful voice filled the room. I never imagined that the cliché plot of a lost love returning from the dead would happen to me. Maybe I had already lost the moment Vicky came back. Caleb's heart had always leaned toward her. After a long silence, I finally heard Caleb's voice. "I even thought about dying with you back then." My mom knelt in front of me, crying, saying I was her only son. "Do you know how much it hurt me to lose you?" The room was filled with warmth and tenderness. Caleb and Vicky were explaining themselves to each other, pouring out years of longing and regret. Standing outside the door, I felt my heart grow colder and colder. It wasn't long before I heard the sound of lips intertwining in a deep kiss. From the bedroom came the low groans of a man and the breathy moans of a woman. The moonlight outside was as soft as water. On the first night we moved into this house, Caleb and I had shared the same kind of tenderness. This was our marital home. He once promised me here that he would love me forever. And now, in our bed, he was making love to his first love. I felt sick to my stomach. I turned away in a panic. At that moment, I heard Vicky call him husband. And in a hoarse voice, Caleb answered her over and over again. "Baby, don't ever leave me again." A wave of dizziness washed over me. I don't even remember how I left the house. By the time I became aware of my surroundings, I had already been sitting in my car for a long time. Outside, the wind howled and rain poured down. The cold wind and raindrops seeping through the car window felt like they were piercing a hole through my heart, a hole so big that nothing could ever fill it again. After a while, the glare of headlights pulled me back to reality. A black car stopped in front of mine. A woman with snow-white skin and bold red lips stepped out, holding an umbrella. Her face was full of concern as she looked at me. "Are you okay?" she asked softly. I turned my head and looked at her through the window. It was my childhood best friend, Sigrid. I brushed my hair back and forced a weak smile. I knew my smile probably looked worse than crying. Seeing me like this, her eyes instantly turned red. She opened the car door and pulled me into a warm embrace. Her hug was too comforting. It broke down the walls I'd tried so hard to hold up, and my tears finally came rushing out. "Why?" I sobbed. "Why did I give so much to him all these years, only to lose to his first love in the end? If he still loved her, why did he chase after me in the first place?" I cried and poured my heart out, saying everything I had held back for so long. Sigrid just held me and listened quietly. After a while, she gently stroked my hair and said softly, "Everything will be okay. If a wound festers, you have to cut it out before it spreads. Time will heal you. And don't forget, there are still so many people who love you." I stayed at Sigrid's place for several days. During that time, she never once mentioned Caleb. She just stayed by my side, laughing with me, drinking with me until we were both drunk. I realized that life isn't just about marriage. And maybe it was time for me to face this storm head-on. A week later, I visited my parents. They supported my decision without hesitation. As I left their house, I caught a glimpse of my father, and his hair seemed even grayer than before. I had been so selfish. My father had never approved of my relationship with Caleb. But I had been so stubborn and determined that he eventually gave in. I always believed that love could conquer all. That as long as Caleb and I loved each other sincerely, we would be happy. I never expected to be so wrong. From beginning to end, I was never the one he truly loved. If I made the wrong choice, I would accept the consequences without complaint. On the weekend, I asked Caleb to meet me at his office. I didn't want to go back to that house, not even to discuss our divorce. Everything about that place, including the smell, disgusted me. When I arrived, the office was empty. Only Caleb was there, waiting for me in the CEO's office. "Why didn't you let me pick you up when you got back?" he asked gently, pulling me to sit on the couch next to him. "What is it that you had to come all the way here to talk about?" I quietly pulled my hand away from his. The next second, I placed the divorce papers from my bag onto the table. His smile froze. He looked at me, then at the papers, and knelt down in front of me in a panic. "What? What is this supposed to mean? Isn't it obvious? Can't you read? You want a divorce? Why? Did I do something wrong? Just tell me, and I'll change, okay?" I sighed, looking at him. "I know about you and Vicky. Caleb, let's end this with some dignity, okay?" His eyelashes trembled. He opened his mouth like he wanted to explain, but all that came out was a broken plea. I didn't do anything with her. You must have misunderstood." I let out a cold laugh. For a moment, the man I once loved seemed utterly disgusting to me. So, what I saw in our bed, that was a misunderstanding too. Caleb's whole body shook. His face was filled with disbelief. "You never left the country, did you?" "No," I said, my voice cold. "While you were having sex with her, while you were calling her baby, I was right outside the door." I smiled, sharp and unforgiving. But before I could say another word, Caleb broke down. "Stop," he begged, his voice shaking. "Please, stop." In 5 years of marriage, I had never seen him lose control like this. His whole body trembled as tears streamed down his face. I was out of my mind. "That's the only reason I brought Vicky home. You're the one I love the most, nothing will ever change that." I was wrong. It was all my fault. "Just give me some time to fix this, please? I promise I'll cut her off completely, and we'll go back to the way we were." I saw fear in his eyes. Real, raw fear. Now that I wanted to leave, he was scared. But a cheater is a cheater. Once the trust is broken, it's gone forever. Did he think I should sacrifice my dignity for their great love? I stood up and looked down at him. "Caleb, you should never have pursued me while you still had feelings for her. You hurt someone who genuinely loved you, someone who used to see you as her whole world. And you lost her all on your own. My marriage is already ruined for the sake of your love story. Are you happy now?" I turned to leave. But before I could walk away, he grabbed me from behind. He was crying uncontrollably, his breath uneven. "Baby, I'm so sorry. Just forgive me this once, please? I promise you, Vicky will never appear in our lives again." I don't know where I found the strength. I shoved him away, hard. "Don't call me baby again. It makes me sick." A week after I left, Caleb signed the divorce papers. He gave up everything. He told his lawyer that he owed me that much. Maybe my leaving drained the last bit of ambition out of him. My dad bought out Caleb's company. As for the house, we sold it. I wanted every painful memory to disappear from my life forever. Honestly, maybe I should have done it sooner. I should have seen it clearly that night, at Caleb's birthday party. But I was the stubborn one. I gave him a chance. I even wanted to save our marriage. In the end, I lost everything. Who else could I blame? After the divorce, Caleb slowly faded from my life. With nothing better to do, I traveled the world with Sigrid. Until one night, I got a tearful phone call from Vicky. Her voice was full of venom, each word sharper than the last. "I never thought you'd be so cruel, making Caleb give up everything. Are you trying to destroy him? He's nothing but a useless mess now. Living off me, smoking and drinking all day. And if anything upsets him, he hits me. Is this what you wanted? Are you happy now?" I let out a soft laugh. "Yes, Vicky. I am happy. Did you really think I'd want someone who betrayed me to live a good life? You thought you won, didn't you? But everything you took, I gave up willingly. Be honest with yourself, do you love him or do you love the lifestyle? The CEO title? The luxury cars? Too bad for you, those things were mine to give. Without me, he's nothing. My words shattered her composure. She lost it, screaming insults at me through the phone. I hung up and blocked her without a second thought. 3 months later, Vicky was splashed across the tabloids. Every dirty secret was exposed. Turns out, years ago, she moved to France after meeting a wealthy old man, someone over 50, with deep pockets. He promised to pay off her family's debts, on one condition. She had to be his mistress. In those years abroad, he made her famous. She became a model. But Vicky got greedy. She seduced the old man's son, and even had his child. When the truth came out, the old man retaliated viciously. That's when she came crawling back to Caleb. The scandal spread like wildfire. Overnight, her fans abandoned her. I pursed my lips, glancing at Sigrid, who was sipping coffee calmly beside me. This wouldn't happen to be your doing, would it? She smiled, red lips curving wickedly. What, I'm not allowed to get revenge on someone who bullied my best friend? Honestly, Caleb's an idiot. This dirt wasn't even hard to find, just a little cash and voila. I still can't believe he trusted Vicky without checking a thing. I lowered my gaze. Maybe he really did trust her. He never thought his first love could be so calculating. At that, Sigrid patted my shoulder. When Caleb found out the truth, all hell broke loose. He tried to break up with Vicky, and the two of them fought like crazy. One day, during an argument, Vicky threatened to kill herself. But Caleb didn't care. Instead, during a snowstorm, he came looking for me. I left him standing outside my apartment all night. When I finally stepped out the next morning, he was still there. His face pale, his body trembling from the cold. I turned to leave, but he grabbed my wrist. I want to talk, he said, his voice hoarse. I met his gaze, calm, detached. I have nothing to say to you. He hesitated, guilt clouding his eyes. I'm sorry, he said. I know it's too late, but I had to tell you. Vicky and I grew up together. I never thought, never imagined, she'd fake her death just to make me give up on her. You're right. I shouldn't have pursued you when I still had her in my heart. But Teresa, when I chased you back then, I meant every word, I loved you. I've thought about it a lot. What I felt for Vicky wasn't love, it was regret. I couldn't let go of the years we lost. But I made a mistake, a terrible one. And now, there's no going back. I deserve your anger, your hatred. I just don't want you to carry that weight forever. Can you forgive me? I looked at him. Since our divorce, it was the first time Caleb had sought me out. And I believed he meant every word. But it didn't matter anymore. Caleb, forgiveness doesn't change anything. I don't hate you. There's nothing left to hate. I told you when we divorced, I wanted a clean break. Let's keep it that way. As I finished speaking, a sleek Porsche Cayenne rolled to a stop nearby. Dennis stepped out, wearing a stylish coat and holding a bouquet of roses. He glanced at Caleb, then raised an eyebrow. Your ex-husband? I nodded. Dennis extended a polite hand toward Caleb. I've been chasing after her lately, he said with a smirk. If you're done, it's my turn now. Caleb's face darkened instantly. You know she's divorced, right? Doesn't that bother you? Without missing a beat, Dennis slipped an arm around my waist. I always wondered, what kind of fool would let a woman like Teresa go? Now that I've met you, I understand. And by the way, using her past to insult her? That's low, man. No wonder she left you. With that, Dennis shook off the hand he'd just shaken, like Caleb's touch might have dirted him. He tightened his hold on me and led me away. Behind us, Caleb stood frozen in place, watching as we disappeared into the distance. And this time, he knew. We were never going back. Sitting in Dennis's car, the atmosphere was quiet. He was driving while handing me the breakfast he had picked up. Today, you're filling in for your dad at the meeting in my company. Time's tight, so you'll have to make do with this for now. Once it's over, I'll treat you to a proper meal. I took the breakfast from him. As I looked at Dennis's profile, I hesitated for a moment. Thanks for stepping in and helping me out today. Honestly, you didn't have to do this. I've already divorced him, and I don't care about what he says anymore. After I spoke, Dennis let out a soft chuckle. You really think I'm just helping you out? Teresa, when I said I wanted to pursue you before, I meant it. Please don't ignore the good things I do for you, alright? I pressed my lips together. But you know, I've said before that I'm not in a place to start a new relationship right now. The next moment, he responded. I know, but I like you. Do you think that would be a burden to you? I told you, we have plenty of time ahead of us. The car was filled with the scent of roses. I had once mentioned that I liked champagne roses. It seemed that Dennis had quietly remembered everything. Suddenly, I recalled what Sigrid had told me. There's nothing wrong with enjoying a man's pursuit. Don't let one bad experience make you see love as a wild animal. Looking out at the snowy scenery, I curled the corners of my lips. Yes. There's still plenty of time ahead. Why rush? Doing what I love at my own pace is the way to go. While I was lost in thought, Dennis's voice came from beside me. What do you want to have for lunch? How about that restaurant you said was good? I smiled and answered. Sure. The end.